What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Trading Live with Bubba for Thursday, December the 4th. Well, pretty quiet. I mean, there's been some whip, but on very light volume, which makes trading a challenge. We talk about it all the time. There's no real big news to talk about. So we continue to, again, we're ready to trade. Should we get anything to trade? Again, I don't see a hell of a lot of opportunity. We traded this morning with my group and didn't have any official trades, had a few. Certainly there was a trade earlier in crude, which right now would be a small winner. But again, we don't talk about what we could have done because we didn't make the trade. But again, you're very choppy markets, very thin. The overall volume is pathetic, going down every day, which should not be the case in December, at least this part of December. But it is what it is. And we can't fight it. But we'll watch and see if we can find something to trade here. We're looking at, obviously, for a market to extend one way or the other. We don't care which way. We just want it to move. And unfortunately, now maybe you're getting something here in gold. But once again, you got to look at the volume. You got to weigh the volume against the risk, against your own personal, who you are. Okay. Some people, get a little bit more nuts over losses. And, part of trading is being able to accept the losses that do show up, and they do show up. I mean, I don't care how good you are, there's always going to be the potential of loss, and you got to be able to deal with it. But you do want to make sure that when you are trading, that you do have everything you can in your favor to give you the best shot to win. Okay, that's something that's important to understand. I mean, right now there's not a lot in our favor. Could I make a guess which way? Yeah, I could do anything. But at the end, I like to trade off the speed and the emotions of others on a short-term basis. Again, for the longer-term stuff we do, no big deal. Okay, our Apple trade is going to cash. That's an easy winner. Okay, the trades we made on Tuesday are easy winners. Great. Okay, but again, we don't worry if they would have gone against us. I wouldn't be upset either, because again, I'm only playing, and we're only trying to play a probability model. Okay, that's what we're trying to do, is put the probability in our favor. So is gold going to be a trader? It might be. I mean, again, I'd love to see the volume get up to here. I don't think it will, but certainly based on the rules that I set, it is greater than the last 5 bars. So. Again, I will say this: if we do make this trade, if you better be aware of the risk involved, because it's still a little bit thin. No matter what happens here, it's still a little bit thin. Okay, and you get these whipsaw markets where they can be beneficial and make you a lot of money. They can take you out in 2 seconds as well. That's the issue that we're dealing with now in these slower markets when we're making these day trades. Is we can get in, but we can get stopped out very quickly in these markets because there's really nowhere to stop in whichever direction going. But yes, this is going to be a potential trade. So we're going to go ahead and switch over right now to the 1 minute, look for the trigger. The stop right now would be 42.49.50. 42.49.50 would be the stop. We don't have a trade yet. But so just to put that in real money terms, you're talking about $800 on a big one, $80 on a micro. So that's something that you have to be aware of as well, because again, we're not going to take it out early. We're trying to make a lot, and we're going to let it run. And I never adjust my stops unless I'm adjusting to protect profit. Okay, so certainly gold is a trade if you want to take it. Again, I am telling you that there's risk here. Okay, there's risk in every trade, but there's a little bit more here. But anyway, so the stop is in 42.49, 40, 50, excuse me. Okay, now you should have, if you did make the trade, you should already have one off, and you should be now going to break even with your profit. Okay, so you should have a profit on one, and the rest of whatever your position is should be at break even. Okay, now we'll let it trade. Okay, we'll see what happens. That was pretty easy. Again, I'm not saying that you should have taken the trade. I would never do that. You have to, like I said, you have to understand yourself and how you deal with loss. And you get too emotional when they go against you, because we can get into a pattern where we could lose 3-4 trades in a row. All right. We haven't done it for a while, but again, we haven't had the opportunity to trade. That's one of the biggest things that I like to have is when there's opportunities. The busier, the better. Okay. Right now in my morning call, even here, we're hitting over 90% of our day trades. Okay. But what is wrong with hitting 90%? It means we're not trading enough. It means we're not getting enough opportunity. It means we're taking, our profits are too small. Okay. Because we're not getting enough movement. We're not getting the desired reaction to the market based on the pattern that we're trading. And the pattern we're trading is a blow off. It's a panic or a greed or a fear trade that we are trying to react and take advantage of the emotions of other traders. Okay. And there's an old saying from my floor trading days, when you can see their tonsils, give them whatever they want, they're wrong. And this is the same thing we're trying to do here. Okay. If we can see them and we're not getting enough screaming and yelling to get out or to get in. So in the meantime, the gold is a winning trade either way. If you took it, and we'll see if we can find another one. Again, there's not a lot to do. I'm not overly excited. Again, I traded this morning and then I've been sitting around waiting to trade now with you guys. And then I'll probably be done for the day unless something crazy happens. But I'm always only 10 minutes away from being set up because I do carry my laptop with me wherever I go. So I can always get set up if I have to. But I don't suspect there'll be much, but we'll see. We're getting a pretty good meltdown right now in the NASDAQ suddenly. I just got stopped out of my gold, so I'm out with a profit. Okay, I made 14 ticks, which would be either $14 if you had the micros or $140 if you trade the big ones. Okay, again, it's not the greatest trade in the world, but it is a profit. And one thing about this business, you got to keep grinding in the profits too. Okay, but you have to be equipped, and prepared to trade under any circumstances. That's the key to being successful in trading, whether you're swing trading or investing, long-term trading, is being prepared for what the market presents to you. Okay. And you have to have a lot more action on a short-term trade or a day trade than you need on an investment or a swing trade because you have time. We're not taking time. We're trading in a 4-minute cycle. Okay. And we're using a 1 minute to decide that cycle. So we don't have the same time to let it sit there and work. We need to have action and movement. And of course, you're really not getting much. This is the problem. Certainly, if I was going to trade purely off 3 standard deviations, I would have been a buyer of the NASDAQ here. But again, that's easy to say, but we didn't do it. Okay. Again, there's another thing that we use. I use these some of these trade assist tools, which actually trigger the trade that we're watching right now. I'm just going to show you one and explain to you something real quick here. This was a buy in crude oil back, a couple hours ago. Okay. And it would not have gotten stopped out. But my point here is you can either choose to buy or sell on that trade assist when it triggers, or you wait, but you have to be consistent on the decisions that you make. Okay. So if you're watching this with me, if I always bought when it went out 3 standard deviations to the downside, or I always sold when it went up 3 standard deviations, then I can make that trade. But I can't pick and choose when to do that. I have to. The biggest problem I find in most traders is they lack consistency and they let their thoughts and their opinions get involved with what should be automatic. Okay. These trades should be automatic. Okay. You get a blow off to the upside, you're a seller. You get a blow off to the downside, you're a buyer, no matter what you think overall. Because remember, in our business and what we're doing, a long-term capital gain is 4 or 5 minutes. Okay. So again, now gold is obviously stopped out. It worked, it made a little bit, but now will it give us another opportunity? I don't know. I don't see the speed in this market right now that suggests that I'll get the opportunity, but we're watching. So if we see it and while we're waiting, we got a couple minutes. So let's just take a look at. So the Apple, as I said, we put that on the other day, is a winner. Okay. We sold that on Tuesday. Amazon, we had no trade and still have no trade. It's still in the middle of the range. Coin, okay, still in the middle of the range. crowd had earnings, so we couldn't do anything with it. It did come down. Again, there was nothing to do, but it did come down, and you could have had an opportunity. Ether, we didn't do anything with it, but certainly was an opportunity. Meta, again, is all the way up to the top. So now, before we were buying Meta, which we lost the last time we bought Meta or sold put spreads, now you might want to look at sell call spreads. Okay, now I'm not going to do much because I'm not really that interested. But again, I will tell you what I'm thinking. But at the end of the day, right now, I'm not all that psyched up about trading right now because there's nothing really to do. Again, it's the whole thing. You have to be mentally prepared for whatever. And I'm more thinking about going to play poker than I am about, because I live in Vegas, so I do play poker a lot. But for right now, I mean, there's not enough speed or action in this market, and I've got enough positions. It's not like I don't have anything on. I've got a lot of positions on, so I don't have to add just to add. Okay. We've got a lot of stuff that does a lot of automation stuff. So, a lot of spread selling through automation. So again, either we're going to get some trades, and again, here gold is going to be close. I'd like to see it pop up a little bit higher from here, but it could be another potential opportunity. But again, I'm not thrilled. I'm not dying to get in, but I will look at it, and I'll probably trade it depending on what the risk is I got to take. Stop this time is going to be 42.52. 42.52. I do not have a trade yet, but the stop will be 42.52. And this bar will close in 10 seconds or so. So we'll see. Right now it would be a trade. It's going to be, if it closes red, it's a trade. If it closes green, we wait for the next bar. And this is right on it. Again, this is too close to call. I'm going to wait. If I miss it, I miss it. Okay. Again, I don't care what happens. If I miss the trade, I miss the trade. Not a big deal. There's always another trade. You remember, the markets are open 241 days a year. Soon to be 365. It's soon to be 24/7, 365, but not today. But you can bet on it that the markets will be open just like every other market, the currency markets and the crypto, 24/7, 7 days a week. Holidays doesn't matter. Okay, you can bet on that. So, in the meantime, do we want to take this trade? So now you got to say, well, now the risk is, you're talking about $9 for the risk, which is $900 on one big one, or $90 on a micro. Are you comfortable with that risk? Okay, I am going to take the trade, although I'm not really thrilled, but I'm going to take it. Okay, and I'm going to take it right now. Okay. 52 is the stop. Again, these are not the greatest of, these wouldn't be my greatest hits if I was setting up the ideal, but unfortunately, we don't always have the ideal conditions either. I've got my orders working in to take some off. We get a quick dip down. I can get myself in profit, and then also put myself in a place where I can lock it up and let it trade. And if it runs, great. If it doesn't, then I'll get stopped out and still make a little bit of money. But right now, I'm not in that position. Right now, I'm down a little bit. But we'll see. But as you can see, the overall speed is not much. So we're in our trade. We don't have to watch that. We can go take a look at the rest of the board. INOQ, we didn't have a trade in. IWM, we didn't have a trade in. MP, again, you can see most of these are surging around the mean, so there's really not much edge to the side of the trade. Netflix, we talked about, again, we talked about selling. We didn't do anything, so it's no big deal. Again, it's nothing all that exciting right now. Okay. Again, I don't have much for you because there's not much to do, and I don't believe in putting people in jeopardy. If you do remember, we were watching this around 22. It finally held and it broke to the upside. Qs, not much. Again, there's just not a lot to do. Tesla will be a sale soon, but overall, I don't see much action here. So let's go back to here and see what's going on. So we got a little tiny profit right now, but we don't have any closed profit yet. So we're all right. So now you should be out of one of your gold if you took the trade. And if you, like I said, if you didn't take it, it's not a big deal. You're learning. Okay, but you should be out of one, and now you're free roll. Okay. Now you have no risk. You got some profit in your pocket, either $10 or $100, depending on what size contract you're trading. And now you got a free roll. You don't have to worry about it. It's all over. You can let it trade, and then you would watch levels. I mean, the next time I would move my stop until we came down to about $8 lower from here before I'd think about moving my stop. Okay. Right now, I'm just going to let it trade. Okay. And I did just get stopped out. So I made another $14 or $140, depending on the size, and on to the next trade. Okay. I hope it's helping everybody. If you have any questions, feel free to fire them in. I'm always happy to answer and help anybody I can. I've been very fortunate in the world of trading over the years, 47 of them. So, but we don't have much happening right now, so we just have to kind of sit back and, again, wait, and we don't have much to look at. Anywhere else, I'm not all that excited. We did have a good week, so we're certainly going to take our profits and look for better opportunities. Hopefully, we'll get a little bit busier. Maybe next week. Oh shit! Forgot about that. And one other thing I will recommend to everybody: I forgot I had an order working. Okay, and I just hit it. I heard it. I saw it. I closed it immediately. It happened to be at a profit, but that's not the point. You make a mistake, don't compound the mistake. Get rid of it, get out of it, and move on. Okay? Because you're going to make mistakes. It happens. You make a mistake, close the trade immediately, and move on. Don't try to turn it into a winner, because more likely than not, you're going to turn it into a massive loser. Okay? So, in the meantime, that one happened to work out. But again, it's easier just to take them off. That's the way that I do them. When I make a mistake, which I have, and I will, because I do forget orders, especially if it gets busy, then I just close the mistake and go. And I think that's more important for anybody. So you can see we're nowhere. We came down on the NASDAQ, popped right up. But again, we had no opportunity to get in. Okay. So I think that we call it a day. And we'll be back on Tuesday. Remember, I do the Market 120 every morning, so you can get an idea what I'm viewing, what I'm thinking. We also have a new piece that I do called The Pulse of the Pit, which is another recording with also some stuff in writing. So if you want to check it out, let me know. In the meantime, have a great day, everybody. We'll see you back here on Tuesday. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you later.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.